Conor versus Logan Paul.
Is that supposed to happen?
Ariel Hawani says it's actually quite easy to make happen considering WWE and UFC are under the same banner.
I don't go with Logan. I'm going to go with Conor. I just realized he said Logan instead of Jake.
He ain't even fighting the real Paul.
But Logan's bigger.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined, not even close.
The boxing world has been abuzz with rumors surrounding a massive $250 million showdown between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor. Recently, McGregor teased the imminent announcement of this highly anticipated fight, hinting at both the hefty paydays the fighters could expect and the potential venue for the event. McGregor took to X, formerly Twitter, to suggest that the fight would take place at one stadium in Mumbai, India, sparking excitement in the global combat sports community. This potential showdown between the two stars comes after McGregor's extended absence from combat sports. His last appearance was at UFC 264 in 2021, where he faced Dustin Poirier. During the fight, McGregor suffered a horrific shin injury in the opening round, which led to his withdrawal from the match and triggered a prolonged hiatus. Since then, McGregor has not competed in the sport, and his return has been eagerly anticipated. Plans for his comeback seemed close when UFC officials announced he would headline UFC 303 against Michael Chandler in June 2024. However, McGregor was forced to withdraw due to a toe injury, delaying his return to the octagon yet again. McGregor recently posted on X, confirming that the showdown with Paul was nearing official confirmation. The update emphasized the significant earnings both fighters would stand to gain, with reports suggesting that each could pocket $250 million from the event. The potential fight's venue, one stadium in Mumbai, adds another layer of excitement, with the location marking a significant moment for both the sport and the fighters' global reach. The $250 million purse for each fighter is remarkable, far exceeding the typical earnings for most boxers in high-profile bouts. While McGregor has teased the confirmation of the fight on social media, fans are still waiting for an official announcement. The news has been widely shared by various media outlets, fueling anticipation for what could be one of the most lucrative events in combat sports history.
Logan Paul's fighting Conor McGregor, but we're getting scammed since originally this fight was supposed to be Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I don't know who got more scammed, the people that bought Crypto Zoo or Jake Paul. At least we know this fight will be a harder watch than Joe Biden going up the stairs. Regardless, I will still be watching this fight. Make sure to subscribe.
The recent buzz surrounding the fight purses of Conor McGregor and Jake Paul has sparked significant intrigue, leading many to speculate about the involvement of a powerful figure behind the scenes. That figure, according to various reports, is Mukesh Ambani, the Indian business mogul, who has an estimated net worth of around $120 billion. Ambani, 67, is currently ranked 9th among the world's wealthiest individuals, and is the chairman and largest shareholder of Reliance Industries, a conglomerate with a vast array of interests, from petrochemicals to telecom. It is believed that Ambani's backing could explain the reportedly astronomical fight purses involved in the McGregor-Paul clash. Ambani's younger son, Anant Ambani, is reportedly the primary driver behind the potential showdown between McGregor and Paul, with the younger Ambani's reported net worth of $40 billion adding further weight to the speculation. Anant is said to be particularly enthusiastic about bringing high-profile boxing matches to India, making Jake Paul a key part of his vision. Despite McGregor's initial comments about potentially facing Logan Paul, it seems the Ambani family has their eyes set on Jake as the preferred opponent for the Irish UFC star. Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation turned boxer, has been vocal about his interest in fighting McGregor for years. Known for his brash persona and impressive 1-1-1 boxing record, Jake has previously challenged McGregor in a series of public posts. However, now that it appears the Ambanis are actively seeking to make the fight a reality, Jake has added a stipulation he will only consider fighting McGregor if UFC President Dana White plays a role in making the fight happen. Jake's latest tweet makes it clear that he believes Dana White's involvement is crucial to legitimizing the proposed match. The intrigue surrounding this potential fight has triggered mixed reactions from McGregor's fans, with many expressing disappointment at the idea of him fighting a YouTuber, particularly Jake Paul. One fan, who has been following McGregor since 2012, said they would retire as a hardcore fan. If McGregor participated in what they called a clown show, another fan described McGregor's potential matchup with Jake Paul as embarrassing, especially in contrast to McGregor's previous bouts, such as his fight with Floyd Mayweather. Some fans lamented how McGregor, once considered one of the greatest fighters in the world, would stoop to fighting a YouTuber. One user sarcastically noted that they couldn't imagine years ago that McGregor would end up losing an exhibition against a YouTuber, while others questioned the authenticity of the match, suggesting that it could be fixed, as has been alleged with other celebrity boxing matches. The backlash intensified after McGregor suggested he might be getting involved in a fight that could make him a significant amount of money without the risks associated with a traditional UFC bout. One fan remarked that if McGregor earned the reported figures from the potential fight, he would have no reason to return to the UFC, especially since the exhibition fight would pose minimal risk of injury. This comment resonated with those who have been frustrated by McGregor's extended absence from the UFC after his last fight in 2021, which saw him suffer a serious leg injury in a loss to Dustin Poirier. McGregor had been slated to return in a headline bout against Michael Chandler in June 2023, but he pulled out just weeks before the fight, citing a fractured pinky toe as the reason for his withdrawal. In the midst of all this speculation, McGregor has expressed interest in fighting Logan Paul, the older of the two Paul brothers, who is also a YouTuber, professional wrestler, and entrepreneur. However, it seems the Ambani family, whose influence and wealth could play a significant role in making the fight happen, is more interested in pitting McGregor against Jake Paul. The Ambanis, India's wealthiest family, have reportedly been working behind the scenes to bring Jake Paul into the fold, hoping to create a major spectacle that would draw global attention and capitalize on the growing popularity of celebrity boxing. Anant Ambani's enthusiasm for bringing a big-name fight to India, specifically one featuring Jake Paul and Conor McGregor, is part of his broader vision to put India on the map as a major player in the global boxing and combat sports scene. The Ambanis have a history of backing large-scale events, with Mukesh Ambani being a key figure in the development of sports leagues in India, such as the Indian Super League and the Mumbai Indians cricket team. It seems that Anant, who is eager to expand Reliance's interest into the sports and entertainment sector, sees the McGregor-Paul fight as an opportunity to showcase India as a destination for major international events. For McGregor, the appeal of such a fight is undeniable. The reported fight purse, which could run into the tens of millions of dollars, would certainly be a lucrative offer. However, for many of McGregor's longtime fans, the idea of him fighting a YouTuber, especially one with no professional fighting background like Jake Paul, seems like a step too far, undermining his legacy as one of MMA's most iconic fighters. The fight, while potentially profitable, risks tarnishing the reputation McGregor has worked years to build in the UFC and combat sports in general. As the debate continues, it remains to be seen whether McGregor will go through with the fight, and if so, what the future holds for his career in the UFC. The involvement of the Ambani family and their massive wealth adds a new layer of intrigue to the situation, and fans are eagerly waiting for any official announcements regarding the fight's status.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined, not even close.
Conor McGregor, a figure who rose to prominence in the UFC with his ferocious fighting style, charismatic persona, and an unmatched ability to talk his way into big matches, has become an icon in the world of mixed martial arts MMA. He solidified his dominance within the UFC in November 2016 when he secured the lightweight title by defeating Eddie Alvarez. This victory made McGregor the first fighter in UFC history to hold two championship belts simultaneously, a feat that cemented his legacy as one of the sport's most electrifying talents. However, McGregor's reign as champion was brief. His belts were stripped due to inactivity when he chose to pursue a highly publicized boxing match against Floyd Mayweather in 2017 rather than defend his UFC titles. McGregor's decision to step into the ring with Mayweather, a 490 boxing legend, was bold and ambitious. Though he ultimately lost the match by technical knockout in the 10th round, the bout proved financially lucrative and elevated McGregor's global profile beyond the UFC, making him a crossover star in the world of combat sports. After nearly 2 years away from the UFC, McGregor made his return to the octagon in October 2018 to face his fierce rival, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Their highly anticipated fight became one of the most heated matchups in UFC history. McGregor lost the fight in the fourth round due to a neck crank submission, but the chaos didn't end with the bell. Following the submission, Khabib vaulted over the cage and attacked McGregor's teammate, Dylan Danis, sparking a wild riot that further fueled the animosity between the two camps. The post-fight melee captured global attention, overshadowing McGregor's loss and underscoring the bitter rivalry. In the years following his loss to Khabib, McGregor's career has been marred by a series of setbacks. He found himself in the midst of a two-fight losing streak after back-to-back defeats to Dustin Poirier in 2021. McGregor's loss to Poirier in July 2021, however, was especially brutal. McGregor suffered a severe leg injury in the first round, resulting in a technical knockout. Since then, McGregor has been on the sidelines, with no official word on when or if he would make a comeback to the UFC. Despite McGregor's struggles in MMA, his name remains prominent in the world of combat sports, largely due to his massive social media presence and reputation as one of the sport's biggest draws. However, his prospects of returning to the UFC have become increasingly uncertain. McGregor has been embroiled in multiple controversies, including legal challenges and persistent rumors surrounding his future. A jury in Ireland determined that McGregor was responsible for a sexual assault in a civil lawsuit, adding to the complexity of his career trajectory. This combination of personal challenges and mixed results inside the octagon has led many to wonder whether McGregor will ever fight again. Notably, UFC President Dana White has expressed doubts about McGregor's future in the promotion, fueling speculation that McGregor may never return to the UFC. There are also issues related to McGregor's contractual situation with the organization, as he remains under contract with the UFC, but the details of his deal and whether the UFC would allow him to fight outside the organization have been unclear. Meanwhile, another combat sports figure, Jake Paul, has been making waves in boxing. Paul, who initially gained fame through social media and YouTube, has transitioned into the boxing world with a controversial but lucrative career. He made his professional debut in 2020 and quickly gained attention by defeating former MMA fighters and other celebrities in the ring. Paul, who has boasted about his ability to draw massive pay-per-view audiences, has now set his sights on McGregor. Paul has insisted that he would only consider fighting McGregor if UFC President Dana White and the promotion were involved in facilitating the match. Taking to social media, Paul claimed that McGregor's management team had been attempting to negotiate for a fight between the two, but only on the condition that Dana White and the UFC be involved. Paul's demand to have the UFC involved in the negotiation stems from his belief that it would legitimize the fight and create the best possible financial incentives. Paul is confident that a fight between him and McGregor would draw significant attention, and he has publicly stated that he sees the matchup as a lucrative opportunity. Despite McGregor not competing in nearly 3 years, his career still boasts an impressive 226 MMA record since his debut in 2008. He entered the UFC in 2013 and immediately made an impact with his brash personality and knockout power. His stunning 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo in 2015 to win the featherweight title was one of the most iconic moments in UFC history. After capturing the lightweight title in 2016, McGregor's meteoric rise seemed unstoppable. However, his decision to pursue a boxing career led to his inactivity in the UFC, and the loss of his titles marked the beginning of a turbulent period. Now, as McGregor continues to recover from his leg injury and work through his personal issues, the possibility of him returning to MMA seems increasingly remote. His own manager, in recent comments, suggested that McGregor might never fight in the UFC again, citing the repeated setbacks and the uncertainties surrounding McGregor's contractual situation. It's also been suggested that McGregor could potentially pursue a boxing match against Logan Paul or another figure from the social media world, where the stakes are lower, but the financial rewards are potentially enormous. While McGregor's return to MMA seems unlikely, there remains a possibility that he could step into the ring again, but this time in a boxing match. Given the massive money that could be made from a fight with Jake Paul, McGregor might prefer the financial rewards of boxing over the physical risks of facing top-tier UFC fighters. As one commentator noted, McGregor doesn't have to fight elite MMA competitors like Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, or Nate Diaz. Instead, he could box someone like Jake Paul, whose status as a professional boxer is questionable at best, but who brings massive attention and financial backing to the table. For McGregor, the future remains uncertain, and his next career move is anyone's guess. Whether he returns to the UFC, explores another boxing opportunity, or even faces off against Jake Paul, the world will be watching closely as McGregor continues to navigate his complex career. The next chapter in McGregor's life could very well be a dramatic one, with significant implications for the combat sports world at large.
10 seconds.
Conor McGregor came out and said that he had agreed to fight Logan Paul. What is the latest there? What is going on?
From what I understand, there was conversations about it a while ago. I don't know if Conor just woke up in like Ibiza or something like that and decided that he wanted to talk about it today. From the last thing I heard, there was no updates there, so I don't know if he's just out of his mind and just talking about it. But Logan just had a kid. He's locked in. He's a girl dad. And so, you know, unless there's something that I haven't heard, which is very possible, I don't know what the hell Conor's talking about. But I'll say this. No matter what, I think the boxing world would love to see it. I think we're talking about two very controversial personalities. One loved and hated, two countries, two different fighting disciplines. The world watches that fight. That's another Tyson, Jake Paul. I don't care what you say, people watch that fight. So I want to see it happen, for sure.
Sorry.